All right, putting the ends together. As you've seen, I sanded the bottom of the feet down, made them smooth, tapered the edges a little bit, and I've assembled it. I've pre-drilled holes here for the screws that hold it together. As many screws as I can and everything. I put these will be behind the rails, the longer rails, so it'll hide them. I try to hide them as often as I can. I fill the nail holes with putty before we paint. That's got that one together, and then I'll end up cutting a groove here and putting a panel in this end, which will end up being the inside of the cabinet. Just my preference of where I want it to be. It could be either place, but I'll probably route that groove in there for the panel to sit in. It'll be flush then. All right, got the panels cut for the end, mostly. You see here where I routed around the edges of this, it leaves a round corner. A person could chisel that out, go ahead and cut that the rest of the way out. What I've always chose to do is take these to my belt sander at the corners and sand them down to fit. I've got a blank where I've cut a hole out of something at some time, and it just so happens to fit in the corner real nice, and so I can mark the corner, all the corners of the end panel with this, and then sand down to that line and make it fit real nice into the rounded corners that way without having to do the chiseling and all that. And it's inside where you can't see it anyway, so it really doesn't make any difference, but just seemed a little easier to me this way. All right, skip forward a little ways. Didn't record a lot of the building process of the cabinet. Here's kind of what the top will be finished like. I'm gonna paint the trim green. There's the back side of the cabinet. Just primed it. Painted the ends and the front side white. There's the shelf in there. The board's holding up the top. Put some birch plywood that I had left over in the bottom, so we ended up with a joint in it rather than one continuous piece, but that'll be okay. It's more cost effective that way. And there's this end of it. There you can see there kind of the joint, how the corners go together. And for the doors, couldn't really source the slides for them like I wanted, so I ended up just cutting some out of the scrap pieces I had left over when I made these beams for the sides and the columns for the posts for the sides. I had a piece left over that was this is what it was, and I ended up cutting grooves in it then that my hardboard goes into to make the bypass doors. Here's the doors. Got a hole in them to be able to slide them back and forth. Use chalkboard paint on them so that kids can use it as a chalkboard there on the doors. And I'll slide them in the cabinet and let you see what that looks like. So there we go with the doors in it. Already scuffed it with my fingernails. Which it'll all look the same once it gets chalk on it and erased off and chalk dust. The slots, might add, I cut 1/4 inch deep in the bottom, and then in the top I cut them 1/2 inch deep so that the door can slide up past and past on the bottom so that it can swing in and out to get the doors in and out. Clearance the top more. Then I had leftover pieces of the slots that I put in the ends. It wouldn't have had to have that. They fit real good up against the end, but I had them, so I thought I'd just go ahead and put them in there. Add a little rigidity to the ends. Plus, if it ever does get a different kind of a gap, you don't really see it that way. It's in that slot. But anyway, that's it up till now. So now I'm going to work on the top. Let you know how that looks when I'm done. All right, there's a look at the finished product. Brought it home. You can see that I think it was Renly, already used the chalkboard. That's cool. Kim's setting up her Christmas stuff on it. So it'll be a multi-use thing. Still got to figure out what to do with some of the stuff in here. But we'll figure it out. Cat's figuring it out. Anyway, that's what it looks like finished.